Welcome to The Vegan Truth.
Learn the vegan truth with MC Fructose.
Oh yeah, MC Fructose in the house.
Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time to learn how you can improve your health, lose weight, and reverse disease by following a diet of fresh, raw, ripe, organic fruits and vegetables void of any animal products. We'll have interviews with pioneers, doctors, and athletes thriving on a low-fat vegan diet. This is The Vegan Truth.
If people ask where you get your protein from, you can tell them all the food you eat contains some. Truth be told, we don't need that much, so excuse me while I eat my favorite fruit for lunch.
Welcome to The Vegan Truth. This is MC Fructose, your host with the most fruits and vegetables in his diet, that is. Very happy to be here. This is my first ever broadcast through Freedomizer Radio. Little history about myself. I am a raw vegan, barefoot running marathoner, and I didn't always used to be. Back in my early 20s, I was rather unhealthy. I was eating a standard American diet, very sedentary, overweight, had acne, and then back 6 years ago, I decided to give up meat because of a challenge, because my girlfriend at the time was a vegetarian, and I actually gained weight eating a vegetarian diet. And then 3 years ago, I decided to go vegan because I was unhealthy, and I found a diet plan by Dr. Douglas N. Graham called the 80-10-10. 80-10-10 is a diet plan of 80% carbohydrates, 10% protein, and 10% fat. By following this diet plan and exercising, I managed to lose 60 pounds of fat, gain muscle, and recover from my whole life. I saved my life by eating this mostly fruit-based diet, a fruitarian-style diet. I ran a marathon, and now I put myself out there for the world on YouTube, Easy Raw Food, to show people that it's extremely healthy and you can live a long and healthy life by eating fruits and vegetables. I have a guest tonight, a good friend of mine by the name of Mike Velasity, who is a strength athlete. He has a YouTube channel at Fruit and Strength on YouTube.
Hey, can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Mike. You're there. Hello, Mike.
Hey,
thank you for joining me. Welcome to the show, man. Mike is a good personal friend of mine. He lives in Chicago. He also has a degree in dietetics. He studied nutrition. And you're a strong man, going out there and building muscle, proving people wrong that you don't need excessive amounts of protein, you don't need supplements and powders to build muscle, you need to train hard. My first question for you, Mike, is were you always into fitness feats and being a strong man, or was this something that came to you after you decided to go vegan?
It was mostly afterwards, because I did do football and wrestling in high school. That's about it. I didn't train that hard in weightlifting and things like that. It wasn't until I was doing a vegan diet that I really wanted to prove it to myself and everybody else around me that, yeah, you could be exceptionally strong on a vegan diet. That's when it first came out. And 2 years ago, I started doing deadlifts. By probably next year, I'm going to be getting up to 500 pounds on my deadlift. Now, I only weigh like 140 pounds, 145 pounds.
That's incredible.
Yeah, that's over 3 times my body weight, which is considered elite standards. So, yeah, I'm doing it. It's really amazing that I've done it on a low-protein diet, too.
How did you find out about the 80-10-10 and the fruitarian-style diet? When did you decide to go vegan? What was that transition, and what happened to you to make you want to go on that journey into fruits and vegetables? One
of the first things I did to change my diet was, it was kind of interesting at the time. One of my first jobs, I was working at a dairy cooler at a Kmart, and I was really proud to stock milk. And this is the first time dial-up came up, internet, and I was going online. I wanted to find the benefits of milk, and I found just the opposite. I found a website called notmilk.com. Highly recommend checking out that site. And they said milk's not that great and should do like a 2-week challenge of getting rid of milk and then trying a couple of big glasses of it. And that's what I did, and I had the stomach ache and had a mucus thickening of the saliva in the mouth, and I stopped drinking milk after that. I thought it was just normal to have a stomach ache after you eat pizza and drink milk and things like that, so that was the first step. And in my early 20s, I watched a documentary called Meet Your Meat, hosted by Alec Baldwin. It was showing the insides of a slaughterhouse, and I didn't know how to do a vegan diet or anything like that. I was so confused on how to even do that. But I watched it, and I couldn't eat meat anymore. It just really bothered me a lot, and I couldn't see myself doing that kind of job. So there's something, if I could just get off of meat, that would be awesome. It just didn't sync with me. And then later on in my earlier 20s, I got into a starch-based diet, which is the McDougall program. It's a vegan diet, and it primarily just eats starch for most of the meals. And then by 2008, I was researching raw diets. The reason for it is because I've had these sinus surgeries. I had this sinus issue that they're going through my nose and burning up these polyps and everything. So I went for 2 of them, and then the doctor said, well, it looks really inflamed in there. We don't really know what's going on. And I was like, he's like, oh, you could sign up for another surgery. And I was like, I don't think so. I'm going to try out this raw vegan diet. I don't care how much it costs. I'm going to do it. So first off, for the 10-10 diet, there's all these books about how to dehydrate food for 12 hours, all the nuts and seeds. And I was like, I finally just like, I'm going to do anything I can to try it. And, another thing is, not just the sinuses issues, is that one time I went to the bathroom and I was going number 2, and all of a sudden I had all this blood in the toilet. I thought I had colon cancer or something. And I go to the doctor and he said, I was like, well, what's going on? So I went to the doctor and he said, well, you get internal hemorrhoids. And I was like, oh, God, what do I do? And he said, well, and at the time I was eating this cashew cereal that was really high in fiber, and I was eating a lot of it. And the doctor said, get off your fiber, drink water, and stay away from bananas and chocolate. And I was like, okay. So it's kind of funny. It's ironic. My mom brought home a chocolate banana cake that day. She didn't know that's what the doctor said or anything, but it was really odd. My mom never brought that home ever before. I still ate it. And then it's kind of funny now. I eat 20 bananas a day, and I feel fantastic. Right. Well, I went back home and I ate more bowls of this cereal, thinking it would help me out. And it was getting worse. I was scared to wear pants because it would ruin my pants. It hurt to the bathroom and things like that. I felt like I had a period or something. And then I finally gave up. I got really discouraged, and I was like, I'll just eat anything. So I ate highly refined flour and pasta and things like that, and rice and all that stuff. And I was like, forget whole grains. And I actually got better. Oddly enough, I got better doing that. Then I read the 80-10-10 book, which is, for the people that know, it's a high-carbohydrate diet that goes for 80% carbohydrates and then 10% or less coming from fat and protein.
Primarily fruit, too. If you're following it, it's fresh, raw,
fruit.
Ripe, organic fruits and vegetables. Yep.
Exactly. And he says in the book, this related a lot to me, was that a lot of these whole grains, their fiber can be extremely sharp. It's insoluble. And then the fiber in fruits is jelly-like and actually absorbs water. And this jelly is soft on the intestines and all that. So I switch over to that, and I haven't had a problem ever since.
You know, that's interesting that you say that, because I've heard that, people eating bran and bran muffins because they want to be regular. They'll help them to go to the bathroom. But the reason it's doing that is because the fiber inside of it is very sharp at edge, so it scrapes the insides of the intestines, which creates this mucus inside your intestines and pushes everything out of you. So it's a reaction to your body to get whatever you put in out. So it's not that it's helping you to be regular. Your body wants to get the thing that you put in out, which was the bran. So it's interesting.
Exactly. Yeah, he even describes it as eating broken glass. And, that's what it felt like. And it was kind of funny, after a couple months after they went away eating the processed food, I ate one kashi bar, and it came back the next day. It was unbelievable. It was like clockwork with it. But, I haven't had a problem since, and I eat a ton of bananas. There's a myth going on there saying that if you eat bananas, and I went to dietary school, and that's one of the things to say, if you're constipated, do not eat bananas, because they make you constipated. I went 6 days of just eating bananas, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I know tons of people have done that too. They're not constipated. I went to the bathroom like 3 or 4 times a day.
Right. Well, maybe something is to be said about eating unripe bananas, because a lot of people will go to the store and buy green bananas or yellow bananas, and those are not ripe. The sugar has not started to break down. There's still a starchy content to it, so it hasn't broken down into the simple sugars that we absorb a lot easier. So the bananas you were eating were probably had the little brown spots all over them, and the sugars had started to break down, and they're much more easily absorbable. So, I am very similar in that, today I've had 20 bananas already and some dates. That's all I've had so far today, and I've gone to the bathroom twice. No constipation with my bananas.
I know, right? It's ridiculous.
I want to talk to you about your fitness and your strength, and how so many people are talking about you need protein to build muscle, but You're crushing all these fitness challenges. I've seen you do 100 one-hand push-ups. I've seen you do bench press twice your body weight. Why do you think that's occurring when all these people are saying that you need more protein?
Geez, there's a lot of things going on. I guess the only selling point for meat is that it's got protein in it, and when you're trying to sell something, you try to emphasize that's the only thing it's got, really. It's one of the main, you hear all these people all day long, they're like, where do you get your protein from? And it's really unbelievable. I don't know where people got lost with this concept. All the biggest and strongest animals in the world, they all eat, well, not all of them, but they eat a plant-based diet, like the elephant, the rhino, the bull. All these animals eat a plant-based diet. And in the primates, the ones that we are most closest to, eat either their bonobo and orangutan and the chimps, they eat a fruit-based diet. So they get most of their protein from fruit. I think that should answer all the questions right there.
Many people believe that protein is only found in animal products, when really, in actuality, protein is found in all foods, because protein are chains of amino acids, and there's only 20 amino acids that make up the over 50,000 different proteins that our bodies use, and most of the amino acids our bodies are actually producing ourselves. There's only 6 to 8 essential amino acids, but every essential amino acid is found in every plant on this planet in different ratios. So as long as you eat enough calories, you're going to get enough protein. And if you're training harder to build muscle, all you need to do is eat more food to get more protein.
Yeah, and I want to bring up another point for how much do we need. Well, babies, when they're born, they're living on breast milk, and breast milk is only 6% of the calories from protein. It's a very low amount. And if you translate to, if I were to live on breast milk, I did the math on it, and for the calorie amount that they take in, it would be like 4,000 calories, and it would be like 100 grams of protein. But the thing is, that's during the most rapid growth of development ever. That's when babies are tripling in body size, and within a couple months, that's better than any bodybuilder on steroids, or whatever they put in them, can do. Tripling in body weight in a couple months. That's better than any bodybuilder on steroids can do. So the amount that we need, I heard things that we only need like 30 grams of protein a day, 3.5% of the calories from protein. It's a very low protein, so everything else you need to get is either coming from fat or carbohydrates that you need. Another thing is, I know that some people out there, I don't believe there's protein in fruit. Well, if that was true, fruit would not rot. There's like 7 things in order for a bacteria and mold to grow on something. And you need the right pH, it's got to have water content, it's got to have the right acidity, and it's got to have protein in it. So it's interesting that some fruits actually rot really quick. So I wonder, like meat, that's why meat rots really quick, and there's actually some fruits that actually rot really quick too. So I wonder if they miscalculated some of the protein in some of these fruits. One way, that's an awesome way to tell somebody that isn't really nutritionally educated in that. You'd be like, well, fruit wouldn't rot. It would just stay completely still. It wouldn't rot or anything. Another thing is there's animals that just subsist on pure fruit, like the fruit bat and the kinkajou. All these animals, they're definitely getting their protein in, because if they didn't, they wouldn't exist.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. I see you doing all these fitness challenges, and what I'm really inspired by it, I've gone to the gym with you before, and you get me doing some deadlifts, and I'm deadlifting like 300 pounds right now, and I've only done it twice in my life, because you're really inspiring. And I've seen some of your videos. You did one recently. It was a challenge that was Scott Herman, who is a fitness star on YouTube. He's got thousands and thousands of subscribers, and you were taking on one of his challenges where you did 225-pound deadlift for close to 40 reps or something. Yeah. That was a very incredible video. And when you finished, you had this speech that you were just out of breath, and you're like talking about why you were making these videos and why people need to see the truth about nutrition and how people are dying from heart disease and stuff. And I'm moved by that passion that you have, and I love that you're doing that, and you should continue to do that.
Oh, yeah. I got more lifting videos to come out. I got some crazy stunts coming over. People are talking about 100 squats a day. Well, I'm going to throw 145 pounds. I can throw my body weight on top of me and do 100 squats.
In a row.
In a row.
So regular body weight.
Yeah, they can even do regular body weight. And by the way, to give you an idea for the people who know about weightlifting, double body weight bench press, the average man can even bench his own body weight. I'm doing twice of that. There's a website out there saying only 1% of the weightlifting world will ever be able to get there. I'm stronger than 99.9999% of the world because not everybody weightlifts, not consistently as I do. So it's a big passion for me because people are dying out there. My uncle, he just recently died from heart disease. My mom had a heart attack. My uncle had a heart attack. And I just met somebody else who had a heart attack, and I'm so grateful to help him out. I'm so grateful for his doctor because his doctor said, vegans don't get heart attacks. He told him that, and he talked to me. I want to do this vegan diet, and I told him it's really easy to eat fruits and vegetables. It doesn't have to be that complicated or anything like that. So I know that's a big fear for people. Oh, it's so complicated. It's really not. It's the simplest diet in the world. Eating meat and dairy, a whole bunch of grains and stuff, that's hard. It takes a lot of work in the kitchen. You have to come up with fancy recipes and everything. That's tough.
Absolutely. Eating a fruitarian diet, you're really just eating one type of fruit at a time until you're satisfied. Go into the kitchen and eat a bunch of mangoes and then be satisfied with mangoes. And also you get the taste flavor of it. Your taste buds change. We regenerate our taste buds every 7 to 10 days. You start to pay attention to the different nuances and flavors in a single mango or a couple different mangoes. You notice the different flavors and tastes of just mango. Mango has many different flavors to it. I'm very similar in that I want to help other people, and that's why I'm putting myself out there as well. My father has had 2 heart attacks and was even legally dead for a few minutes. It's very important to me as well. I love that you're putting yourself out there and inspiring more people to take on these fitness challenges.
I know.
Every vegan out there should be in the gym lifting weights and proving everybody else wrong. In August, there was a natural bodybuilding competition where Team Strong Built, they're natural bodybuilders, so no steroids, but Team Strong Built, vegans, dominated the competition. They won first place for 5 out of the 7 divisions, and they were vegan, man.
Blew me away. I was like, oh, wow. In Texas, too. Texas has 3 of the fattest cities in the world. Isn't Texas the biggest beef producer, too, in the United States? That sends a really strong message out there that we're outlifting you and we're beating these bodybuilding shows. Within my lifetime, more than half the people in America will be vegan.
We're headed in that direction already. Since 2009, the amount of vegans has doubled in the United States. According to a New Harris Interactive poll that was commissioned by the Vegetarian Resource Group, the amount of vegans has doubled since 2009. It is headed in that direction. There's a lot of myths that are being dispelled, and that's why people like you and I are putting ourselves out there to inspire more people to take on the challenge of giving up animal products. It's a lot easier than people think. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's easy, for sure.
What's the next challenge that you're going to be bringing on to yourself that you want to crush?
Well, I haven't done a good squat challenge. That's how I do squats. I want to do, by next year for Woodstock, I definitely want to get a 500-pound deadlift. That's one of the main focuses. Another thing is, to get into the U.S. Marines and the Army, they have these fitness tests to get in. For my age group, I would have to get 77 push-ups. I could do 150 good ones, touching the floor. I'm getting close to double what they want for the Army. And then they have 20 pull-ups. Jeez, I can do 35. So the only thing that's setting me back on it is you have to run 3 miles in 18 minutes. It's really tough. I know there's another guy, his name is Michael Warrenstein. He's an ultra runner, and he runs a 4.5-minute mile. He runs these 100-mile races, and he runs 5-minute miles inside that 100-mile race. It takes him 18 hours to do it.
Didn't he finish Boston Marathon? He was the 5th fastest American. The Boston Marathon is the most elite marathon in the United States, if not the world, and he finished the 5th fastest American, and he's eating 6,000 calories a day of fruits and vegetables. It's amazing.
He's unreal. I wanted to try to race him this last time when I went to this Woodstock Fruit Festival, largest fruit festival in the world, the fitness one, and they have 50-mile run. What other festival has 50-mile runs? I don't know any. I never even met somebody who did under a 500 mile besides him. It's unreal.
Lots of people, too, not just him. I know he's one of the top guys, but there's also like Tim Van Orden, who is a trail runner of the year, and he wins races as well, and plenty of people. Harley Johnson's out there crushing some records and stuff, too, with his bike. And
he did the cycling contest where he cycled for 24 hours. It was a 24-hour bike race, seeing who can do the fast, who can go the farthest. And he won multiple times. It's like unreal. It's like I've never even heard of anybody else in the world doing things like that. So, and then you got me with all the strength feats. So it's just it's a killer combo that it's unreal. It's just, and I'm sure we're not going to be the first ones, you know, doing all these fitness things. There's going to be more and more people. So it's because the information's out there and people are just sucking it up and going out and doing it. So
right. That is amazing. We are just about ready for a break right now. We're talking with Mike Velasity from Fruit and Strength. We'll be back to talk with him. Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned. We'll be back with The Vegan Truth. Welcome back to The Vegan Truth. This is MC Fructose, your host with the most fruits and vegetables in his diet. We're talking to Mike Velasity from Fruit and Strength today, and we also have a caller who's calling in right now, so I'm going to bring this caller in who has a question or a comment. Hello, caller. Are you there?
Hey, Gabe. It's Jonas Sunshine. I'm just calling in. I'm excited about your radio show. And
oh, awesome. Hi, Jonas. How are you today, man?
I'm great. Yeah, looking good. A lot of the points you're touching on are amazing. So, yeah, cool. I feel like it's cool that you're on this radio show because the ideas of liberty and NVC and 80-10-10 just connect so well. I even made a few infograms about it.
Awesome. I saw you were posting it on Facebook and everywhere, so I appreciate the advertisement.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add to what we're talking about today? Do you have anything to add or a question or anything from Mike?
I'm in Mike's group, the Fruit and Strength one that he's doing. He has like the challenge. He's challenging other people to break their personal best. And I'm doing 8 hand presses and stuff every day to push myself to use all that fruit energy that you get. It's just amazing. This weekend, I think Jesse Lemons is doing a grape fast.
Yeah, my wife is a part of that.
Yeah, so many people coming together from all over the world. And I saw an interview with Doug Graham from the Woodstock Fruit Festival that someone did. She's talking about the connection to the youth, this generation taking into their own hands their personal health, which hasn't happened in a long time.
Absolutely. We're living in a time where scientists predict that children will not outlive their parents, where parents are going to be outliving their children, which is crazy to think about with all the obesity problems and the fast food and the pharmaceutical companies and all this crap where kids are starting out so young and unhealthy, whereas at the Woodstock Fruit Festival that we went to a couple weeks ago, I met children who have been raw vegan since birth, who have never had cooked food, never had pizza or ice cream, and you ask them, hey, do you want pizza or ice cream? And they say no, it makes people sick. Very intelligent kids, you know. You ask them, you're a vegan, why are you a vegan? And they say, because it's healthy and ethical. Kids who understand what ethical means. It was remarkable. Kids who have never been sick a day in their lives and want to eat fruits and vegetables. And there's a kid named Levi who has even written a book. And the kid has written a book for raw food kids, and it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. My mom in the 70s met that lady Ann Wigmore, and so I got that gift myself to not eat cooked food until about 7 years old. And as soon as I saw that, someone showed me it at a Thanksgiving party in 2008. He's like, yeah, this is what I do, and this is Mike Arnstein. And so I went and Googled Mike Arnstein. I seen his video, what he did, tomatoes galore, all the stuff he had in his fridge. I was like, wow, this looks easy. And then not until I saw Harley challenging all these other people that I knew were just, I never believed David Wolf, the best. I think things are different. There's no best. So it was like, that instantly throws a red flag. And so I was like, well, I can do this. And as soon as I did it, I was full on. And then my mom stole my book and copied me and got off her gourmet style. So she's thriving even more than she was. And she's going to go down to Costa Rica and do that water fast and get prepared. Her past, she comes from the standard Belgian diet, and Belgium's all about cheese and bread and chocolate. That just messes you up. I've done so many cool videos on all these different topics. I have to re-upload them now because I got a triple whammy attack. 3 people throw you a copyright thing, your YouTube account's gone. And it happened one day. McDonald's, John Kohler, and Dr. Oz took me out. I was like, damn. So I got to reload.
Dr. Oz took you out?
I know. I couldn't believe, like I take the videos and I make them way better. I take out the mistakes and like for Mike Velasity, I put his thing on there. It makes everything sound better. I think maybe people will hear it and say, well, I can improve my speech with the learning format. And then I've won the fair use things, but we probably said always apply the fair use. And I did that, and I've won every case. But if you get 3 in one day, you don't have the option to dispute them. I'm like, damn.
Well, I have had similar problems with myself. But if people are talking about the raw vegan children, just one thing before we go back to talking about strength and Mike being a pioneer in that movement. One thing about the raw vegan children thing, if anybody is interested, my listeners are interested in how children can be thriving on a raw vegan diet, you need to check out Karen Ramsey's book, Creating Healthy Children. It has been endorsed by T. Colin Campbell who is a professor emeritus of nutritional biochemistry at Cornell University and author of the China Study, the most comprehensive study ever conducted on human nutrition. He has endorsed her book as being very healthy and adequate for nutrition for children. So check that out. It's Creating Healthy Children by Karen Ramsey.
That's an amazing book. I have that book, and I tried to bring it into court, that book, and the government terminated my rights, saying I might raise my child like myself and doing that. They said that's a potential for neglect. Karen Ramsey was willing to testify. They wouldn't let anybody testify. They wouldn't let me testify in my own case.
She is absolutely somebody that I would love to have on this show and have an entire show about that. And I'd love to have you call back in for that, Jonas, especially with what's going on with your court situation and everything.
Yeah.
But talking about your strength and being a pioneer, Mike, how did that happen? How did you, when you go to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, which is growing in size every year, this year we had 600 attendees. Next year they're extending it an extra week because they can't hold that many people, so they expect to have over 1,000 people, and they're going to have it as 2 weeks. And you're one of the pioneers. You're one of the people who's running all these classes and proving to people that this diet is healthy, and a lot of people look up to you. So how did that all start? How did you become a pioneer in this movement?
Well, the first year, I really inspired by Mike Velasity and everything, and afterwards I talked to him. He did a Chicago marathon, and I met him here. I was like, hey, I started telling him what I do and things like that, which, by the way, Mike Velasty started the same day that I did, 2008. It was a New Year's resolution. And I did it for 30 days just to see how I like it, and it stuck with it ever since. He's like, dude, you have to be a pioneer, man. You got to do a couple speeches and some fitness classes. So the story behind all the weightlifting equipment, we're running around finding weightlifting equipment. I brought all my weightlifting equipment second year all the way from Chicago to New York. That's how dedicated I am to getting the word out. So people have to do the...
I was with you. We went on that road trip, and we had 5 power sets in your car.
Power racks. 2 benches.
Olympic bars.
Olympic bars, the whole works. Now they bought 2 of those racks from me, so it's always going to be there. It's going to be years to come. There's always going to be weight there. We have like over 500 pounds, so we got more than enough weight. Well, I don't know. I probably have to bring extra weight because I'm getting up there in weight. So, and then supposedly there's supposed to be somebody going this last year, to be benching close to like 500 pounds. I didn't find the guy. I don't know what happened to him. I tried looking for him. I don't know. He didn't show up. Next year, we're going to see a whole slew. Maybe we'll have a powerlifting competition or something there. I think that'd be really cool. One-night show of all the crazy lifts out there. So, yeah, another thing is I had 90 pounds on me, and I'm doing weighted chin-ups. I thought that was, when I first started, I could only do like 10 or 20 pounds on there. I didn't even know that you could even do a 45. And now, to tell how far I progressed, went from doing, when I first started doing chin-ups, I only can do 11. Just plain 11. I can only do 12, now I can do 21, like no problem, next day. Yeah. It's like in a week of time, more oxygen in your blood, like the VO2 max, it's like you're through the roof. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, and then within a year, I'm able to, I put a 45 on myself, and then I'm cranking out 11. So I have a video on that. That's one of my first videos I ever put out, just to showcase my progress. And there's a myth going on there, and there's this guy, ice cream fitness guy. He's like, oh, yeah, you could get wherever, you could be strong in a low-protein diet, but it's just going to take you a lot longer. Well, I check the charts. I read the forums. I know what people are doing. I know how long it takes them, and I'm beating them. Scott Herman, that Scott Herman guy, he takes all these supplements, all this protein stuff. He's a personal trainer for years. I'm not a personal trainer, and I'm out deadlifting, and he's making all his cash on YouTube and supplement companies and stuff, so it just doesn't make any sense. And he weighs more than me. You should be able to do more weight.
Well, that's why it's good you're out there, Mike, proving people wrong that you don't need all those supplements. You need to train hard, and you need to eat an adequate, correct diet that's going to fuel your muscles. Eat the fruit to replace the muscle glycogen so you'll have the energy to train hard. It's about training hard. It's not about the foods that are going to make you strong. It's about training hard.
Consistently, too. That's a big trick.
Absolutely. Yeah. Some of the listeners who are just tuning in or people who are used to listening to Freedomizer Radio they don't understand what fruitarian is. I've met people who you tell them you eat a fruit-based diet and they've never heard of that. So maybe we could talk about what a typical day for us is in terms of our diet. Like, what did you have today, Mike and Jonas?
I had coconuts. I had about 4 coconuts or so. And then water. Yeah, just the water. I threw out the rest. I don't eat the meat. It's just kind of bland, and it's really high in saturated fat, and that worries me all that much. But it's just really bland, so I don't eat it. But I love the coconut water. It's awesome. It's like the best drink in the world. Good. And then I had some watermelon. That's it.
I started with a quart of water, and I'm sitting here with 3 Mamey, and I don't know about, I got the grapes in the blender. I've already had a bunch of grapes, but yeah, the Mamey is amazing, and I just feel so satisfied after having 3 Mamey.
Oh, how would you describe Mamey? I love that fruit, by the way.
It's like a
for the
sweet
people
potato.
That don't know.
It's just so much. It's totally sweet potato-ish, but without the need for cooking, and that durian feeling where you feel like, whoa, I feel really amazing because I'm having this.
Yeah. It has this almond amaretto taste to it. It's a football shape. Like a small football shape. It's got the sandpaper outside, too. It's brown. And inside it's got this bright red color in it. And it's got the texture almost like an avocado. And it's unreal.
Well, different types of sapote. There's also chocolate sapote, which tastes like chocolate, too.
Yeah. I've got a white sapote tree in my yard. I can't wait till that's going to start fruiting.
Dude,
I bought it at the Arizona Rare Tropical Fruit Growers. These people, they teach you how to graft. They have a scion exchange, so I cut off big branches and mulberry tree branches and pomegranate branches and bring them to them, and I can get any other varieties of those same things and many other things to grow, and they want to teach you how to do it. It's amazing.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, mulberry.
See, for me today, all I've had were bananas and dates. But yesterday, I came from a party. My wife and I had a little fruit luck. We're leaving across the country to move to Seattle next week. So her job threw her this party, and it was a fruit luck. And we had all sorts of different types of fruit, from figs and blueberries and kiwis and oranges and coconut water. And we even brought some exotic fruit like jackfruit, and we had a durian there. And I had a lot of variety, more variety than I'm used to in a day, because most of the time I'm just eating mono meals of one type of fruit for one meal at a time. Yeah. What about shopping? Because I think a lot of people think this diet would be really expensive. If you're shopping at Whole Foods and you're not buying in bulk, then this diet can absolutely be really expensive. But for myself, and I know Mike is very similar, Jonas as well, that I don't spend very much money on food. I find the deals. But Mike, maybe you could talk about what we do when we go shopping.
Yeah, well, we usually go to the wholesaler, and there's some really good fruit shops here in Chicago. I can even name some for the people who are from Chicago. Stanley's and Jerry's. These places are so good in prices, and they sell by the case. You can go up to any produce manager and be like, hey, I want to buy this case of bananas, and can you give me a deal, and I'll be here every other week, and I'll pick up my thing of bananas. And they're like, yeah, I'll give you a couple bucks off. I think bananas might be like only $14. Get them organic, it might cost a little bit more. And sometimes when we go to the wholesaler market, there might be fruits that, they're going, and especially when they have bananas, because if they're starting in a spot, they want to get them out as soon as they can, because the grocery stores don't want to buy them because they have to sell them right away. And then they have to pay somebody to get rid of bad fruit out of their place. So they have to pay a garbage man to pick that up. So they want you to pick it up. So we've gotten deals like $3 a box for bananas. It's unreal.
Organic bananas.
Yeah, I got 120 pounds worth of bananas for $9.
Wow.
So ridiculous. One day we got 6 watermelons for $2. We got a case of 48 avocados for like $5. A case of peaches for $5. Didn't we get 20 pounds of grapes for $1 one day?
Here in Phoenix, I try not to spend more than $30 or $40 a week, and I go to the Mexican markets, the Arab markets, and the Asian markets. And the Mexican markets have this one day where everything's on sale, like 6 avocados for $1, or 7 pounds of watermelon for $1. It's just insane. And we have also a wholesaler, and I do food not bombs. So everything that the grocery store can't sell, they'll just give it away to nonprofits. Right? So we go there and we pick it up, and we feed homeless people, hundreds of homeless people every weekend, all vegan food, mostly all 80-10-10. And you get so much leftover food from that. Yeah, and also foraging is amazing. So I've got date palm trees that are just dropping dates everywhere. And I got the shoes, and I'm waiting for the belt to come in the mail. And I hope I don't fall out of a date tree, but I'm going to go collect thousands of pounds of dates. And figs are everywhere right now, and pomegranates are soon to be everywhere. And it's just amazing how much abundance. Like, I was living off citrus for like half a year because there's grapefruit trees, and I find the yellow ones are sweeter than the pink ones, and they're everywhere. There's abundance. We have carob trees everywhere.
Yeah. You got carob? Oh, man, I love carob.
Yeah, carob, amazing.
Nature's chocolate bar.
Like a snack.
Oh, my God, it tastes like a chocolate bar, man.
I got some right here, and he bites them off. Good.
The point is, you have to shop around if you want to find good deals, because if you're going to Whole Foods to get all of your produce, you're going to be ripped off. When I was in college, we used to call Whole Foods Whole Paycheck. And that's not to say that they're a bad company. I love Whole Foods. You get really good quality there. It just tends to be really overpriced. So shop around, ask for deals, and always buy by the case, because grocery stores will almost always give you a 10 to 15% discount if you buy by the case. I have another caller coming in who wants, I think, to ask a question. So, Jonas, I'm going to take you off right now, but I might bring you back in later if you don't mind. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, for sure.
Nice talking to you, man.
Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Hi, how are you?
My name is Chrislyn Miller, and I was wondering, this vegan diet, how is it opposed to the protein diet to keep your cholesterol down?
Keep the cholesterol down?
Yeah, because, the protein powders for building up your muscles and all that other stuff, that's not working for me, but I was listening to how doing the vegan diet, you were doing better than somebody that was taking the protein powders.
Yeah. Right. You don't need the protein powders at all. Mike's kind of explaining that you don't need that. He's showcasing that. And with the cholesterol, you're not eating animal products. You're not taking in cholesterol in your diet, because plants don't have cholesterol. Cholesterol comes from animal products.
Oh.
Well, there is cholesterol in plants, but it's such a minute type thing. It's like 1/1,000,000th of a gram that they have in plants. But when people say there's cholesterol in plants, they're essentially saying, almost the whole truth, because there is almost 0% in fruit.
Is it the same type of cholesterol, Mike, as HDL cholesterol?
I really don't know. I haven't ventured into it. But, yeah, I know. It just happened just recently. They just found out because it was such a small amount in the plants that they didn't know. But now they do, that there's actually small. I mean, it won't affect our cholesterol levels. And another thing, in fruits and vegetables, there's this stuff called phytosterols, and they help to remove cholesterol out of the body. Same thing with fiber. Cholesterol. Fiber will get rid of some of the cholesterol. And plus, we're not taking in excess. The only real sources that you're going to get cholesterol is from seafood and the highest, and then meat, especially any kind of organ meats or anything like that. The cholesterol is found in that stuff, and that raises cholesterol. So, by the way, I got my cholesterol checked about like a year and a half after doing this diet. My cholesterol is 98. They want to get you under 200. I forget what the measurement is for it, but they want to get you under 200, and mine's 98. My LDL is 38. I talked to my nutrition teacher, and she's never even heard of anybody having LDL that low. And then my HDL is in range at 45. And the range between those both two is beyond optimal. Also, my triglycerides is what people are kind of worried about, too. You want to get it under 150? Mine's 70, less than half of what they recommend. So, yeah, this is the diet. If you want to lower your cholesterol, this is the diet for you. Forget about the protein. And actually, protein from that book, the China study, this T. Colin Campbell, he actually found that animal protein increases cholesterol by itself. Usually it's just a saturated fat but raises cholesterol. But animal protein in and of itself raises cholesterol. So that's a thing that nobody really knows about, is that it actually raises cholesterol. That animal protein itself, it does that.
Okay. Do you guys have a book or something about this?
There is a book you could read called The 80-10-10 Diet by Dr. Douglas N. Graham. And you can also check out my website, which is 80-10-10, yeah. And we both have YouTube channels. You can find my YouTube channel through EasyRawLife.com, and Mike's is Fruit and Strength on YouTube.
Another good guy to do a search for is Dr. McDougall. And I read all his stuff, and he gets people off their blood pressure medications and their cholesterol medications and things like that. So
another really good resource for you would be nutritionfacts.org with Dr. Michael Greger. He comes out with a video almost every single day, and he always refers to peer-reviewed medical journals. So he would be definitely a good resource, nutritionfacts.org.
Yeah, I got to say he's one of the best, and I watch every one of his videos.
Okay. Well, thank you guys for answering my questions. I really appreciate that.
Welcome.
Of course. You have a great day. Thank you for calling in.
Bye-bye.
All right. And we have a couple more people that are calling in right now, so I am going to take another caller. Hello?
Hi. Yeah.
Hi, how are you today?
Really good. I've been really looking forward to your show. I listen to Freedomizer Radio a lot. I call in a lot. My name's Regular Girl. And I have a question for you, though, because you don't have to convince me of any of the stuff you're talking about. I actually saw and met Dr. McDougall in Kailua, Hawaii, where he had a small practice in the 80s. So I've known about this stuff since the 70s, and I am so out of shape and so unhealthy. Here's my question. It's related to that because I'm just going to start. I guess I started to detox a little in that I've been eating more fruits and vegetables, and they're all organic and locally grown, and I just moved to California from a really toxic area in New York. But I've actually started to experience what sometimes is written about as a detox process where if you do it too quickly, there's a sort of a die-off with the bad energy in the cells, but I don't know how much of that I'm making up in my mind, just so that I go back to eating the bread and the other stuff. Is there a particular fruit or vegetable that you think that you might recommend? I don't have money to buy a book right now. For the detox process, and is the process one where you trust your own body, or is it one about what fruits you're craving, what vegetables you're craving? Or are there certain herbs like basil, or something that you can eat that might help me not fall over from the detoxifying process?
I've heard of one study talking about how it can actually improve your liver from detoxing certain things, and that's broccoli, ginger, and citrus that's been shown to help detox the body. I've never been through a detox. I don't know exactly what goes on with that. I don't really have detox symptoms from what people will tell me. If I eat certain foods, I might get nauseous because it's got preservatives in it. I've never experienced some of these crazy detox stories that people tell me. And they're like, oh, yeah, I broke out in hives and everything for a couple of days, and now suddenly I got better. Whoa. Well, I wish I had something like that. I'd be like, wow, it's working.
I had detox symptoms because I was coming from a very unhealthy diet, and I was overweight and sedentary and everything. Certain things that I noticed was a lot of mucus was coming up. I had headaches, and I felt fatigued sometimes. During the detox, I had days where I would have more energy, where I was very energetic, and I was like, wow, where's all this energy coming from? And other days where I was very sluggish. Everybody's slightly different with the amount of toxicity that's in our body and the stuff that you've been putting in for years and years. The detox does go away, so I say trust the detox. It doesn't last forever, but it can last for some people. It can last a couple weeks. It could last a couple months. I've heard of people detoxing up to 4 months. Depends on how much you have to. I've heard that fruits are more detoxifying, so if you go on a fruit-only diet for a while, then you'll feel the effects a lot more rapidly and you'll feel sick a lot more rapidly, but that's just your body cleaning itself out. If you want to slow down the detoxification process so you're not experiencing so much sickness and the effects of it, then you could always add in some steamed vegetables or having more vegetables in your diet because that's going to slow down the detoxification process.
Okay, so a little bit of steamed vegetables if you start getting too sick from an all-fruit diet. Because I'm really wanting to do all fruit. I realize I read a really interesting book called Survival into the 21st Century by Victor Kulvinskas in the 70s, and who talks about a lot of stuff that we talk about here, but especially fruitarianism, which I was convinced for many reasons were the way to go, and just thought, well, I'm not ready for it yet. My diet's too toxic, and so I'll do that soon. I'll work my way up to it. And it's 38 years later. I still haven't done just fruit. And
well, I wouldn't say just do fruit. I absolutely would always recommend to eat vegetables. Mike and I don't just eat fruit. I probably have on average about 2 pounds of greens a day. I often add my greens to my smoothies, but often I'll just have a large salad at night. We need greens. We need vegetables for the mineral content. Fruits have more vitamins than any other food on the planet, but the vegetables, especially the green leafy vegetables, have more minerals. I hope that answers your question. We seem to have lost Mike for some reason. He got lost or something. Mike, if you're listening to this, please call back into the show. Caller, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Did we answer your questions, or did you have any other questions to ask?
You did answer some of my question. You talked about the importance of the greens, the vegetables. There have been other times where I've detoxed from a lot of toxic foods going in the water, going into the water. Not just drinking water is always helpful. I wanted to say this because maybe there are other people out there too. One of the ways that I've always sort of gotten derailed from a vegan diet, because I'm convinced, and I was from many years ago, that just made sense to me in more ways than once, that it was not just about me and my health, but there are a lot of sort of other reasons and false notions that were given about foods that had to do with driving certain industries and that make us sick. That convinced me. But one of the things that would happen always that sort of derailed me was this struggle between whether I eat grains or not. And one of the reasons was because one of the other diets that was attractive to me was macrobiotic. And when I would read it, not just when I would read about it, but I lived in an area in the world where there were these little small natural food restaurants and things like that. And I would actually do these diets. And there was something very peaceful about the macrobiotic diet where you take rice and that's what you detox on. You just start simply with rice and then you build from there in this very simple way. And there was for me anyway something very organic and peaceful about that diet, the same way that there was whenever I would take out the grains and just do fruits and vegetables, even though I would be cooking some of them and still ate some vegetable oils. But there's always been this internal struggle between the two of them, and the two of them together seem to not mix, you know?
Mixing fruits and grains, is that what you were saying? Or you were saying oils in there, too?
I was saying that I would do vegan, so I've been vegetarian, and then gotten fat, eating all the cheese and the bread and the oil. But then there were times where, especially after I read McDougall's book and then went to see him and did that I really understood that taking out the oil and the dairy, I didn't have the problems. But he has grains in there, and there's just something about. Then I mentioned the macrobiotic diet. Maybe, I don't know, are you familiar with that? Are you familiar with the macrobiotic diet?
Slightly. Mike is back with us. Mike, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. It's primarily a rice diet.
Initially, it's sort of very deep, actually, too, philosophically, but it's organic rice. You detox on just the rice. You use tamari, which means there's no wheat in it. So the grains are especially chosen, and it's really based on more of the Chinese yin-yang system, positive, negative energy things, and so you end up eating steamed. But their theory is that everything should be steamed, just slightly, that raw is too harsh for us. I don't know. Just talking here, just having a conversation. That's been sort of a struggle in my life, for the last 35 years.
A struggle to go raw, or finding that, because natural hygiene has been around for a very, very long time, and lots of, like Dr. Graham has been on a raw vegan diet for 35 years, and he's in his 60s, and he continues to have athletic increases in his performance. I've seen the guy at the Woodstock Fruit Festival last week, and he's been eating fruits and vegetables for 35 years, like I said, and he's bench pressing his body weight at least, and he's deadlifting what I'm deadlifting or more. The guy does these push-ups where he puts his hands straight out on the ground and in front of him, and he pushes himself up like Superman push-ups or something. So I don't know. I've talked to people, I don't know much about the macrobiotic diet, but I've talked to people who have said that acidic and it messed up their teeth. I'm not really that sure about it. I do know that the low-fat raw vegan diet absolutely works, and a low-fat, high-carbohydrate vegan diet absolutely works. So, yeah, I would say my advice would be to just do it. Again, eat enough calories, make sure you're satiated so you're not having cravings for other things. And if you are having cravings, say you're having cravings for, like, French fries or something, often that is a sign that your body needs the nutrient. So if you're craving salty foods, your body needs sodium. So eat something that has sodium in it. Eat some celery. Eat tomatoes. We should pay attention to the cravings. But also stay satiated, and there's always an alternative to what the craving is that you want, because we crave these things, but your body's telling you something. You don't necessarily need the processed foods. You need the real plant foods that come from nature.
You got it. You nailed it. That's what I was asking. Perfect. I needed that reminder. Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And thanks for your show. Really great. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you for calling, and call back anytime.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, Mike, I did want to talk to you also about tomorrow. You are an expert on an expert panel at the Chicago Vegan Mania. Are you ready for that? What do you have prepared for this?
Oh, I'm ready. I know what questions are going to be there. Where do you get your protein from? Is it enough protein? Stuff like that. So I have that all prepped and ready to go. I have 6 different ways to answer the protein question. Maybe I'll even challenge somebody to a one-handed push-up contest. So they got weights there, too. So maybe there's another guy, my friend Brian D., he's going to be there, too. He's a vegan bodybuilder in the Chicagoland area, and he's featured on veganbodybuilding.com. Check that out. Yeah, so there's weights, too. We're thinking about getting a little pump in before the talks. It's going to be a lineup of a couple experts, Brian, and there's a dietitian that's going to be there. We're talking about bodybuilding and gaining strength on a vegan diet. So it's going to be a good time.
I'm looking forward to it. What time is your expert panel at?
3 o'clock to 4.
3 to 4. Awesome. Definitely looking forward to that. We still have about 20 minutes left, a little less than 20 minutes, 17 minutes or so. Anything you want to mention, Mike, about what you're doing? And actually, I would like to say that if people are planning on going to the Woodstock Fruit Festival, which is a annual festival, you have the option of sponsoring someone at the Woodstock Fruit Festival, one of the pioneers, which Mike is one of the pioneers. So please sponsor Mike. He needs the money, and it doesn't cost you anything else. It just shows them that his time and effort there is valuable. So I definitely would sponsor Mike for sure. Would you like to mention anything else, Mike?
Yeah, it's maybe I hear a lot of people that are like, oh, that sounds great and everything. Just to tell how to get started with this. I think that's a big thing for most people. They're like, oh, wow, that's cool. I wish I could do that, but I can't for whatever reason. So the way to do it, it's pretty easy. I would just learn as much as you can online and everything. My top tips would be get enough calories from caloric fruits like bananas and dates and even watermelon and things like that, and you just eat one fruit until you're satiated. And like a day it could be had a half a watermelon for breakfast and then like 8 mangoes for lunch. And then for dinner it might be 2 pounds of grapes and then a pound of salad or so with a dressing made out of nuts and seeds. I have a recipe book out. I'm just about to print out more copies of it if anybody wants a copy of it. It's called The Ultimate Fruit and Strength, The Ultimate Salad Dressing and Ice Cream Sauce Recipe Book. It's all the best recipes I've done in 10 years, and I love it. It helps me keep with a raw food diet. And, yeah, if you guys want to shoot me an email at fruitandstrength@gmail.com, you can send you a copy. It's $8, so it definitely helps me out. Another thing is there's a lot of people that are going to be telling you a lot of different things. The main thing that you can do is try the diet out for yourself. Do it for 30 days or 60 days or whatever, and then put this diet to the test. Start lifting, or if you're into running, start running harder. Run as hard as you can. Test this diet. Test it out. And, I could tell you it definitely does work. I think there might be a small, tiny amount of people that it doesn't work for, but for the most part, this diet does work for them.
Absolutely. I love that you mentioned the thing about push yourself harder. Diet is one aspect of health. It's all-encompassing, and find out what your weakest link is, because some people, they might be eating a clean diet, but they're not seeing any results for weight loss or athletic performance. So find out what your weakest link is. For me, my weakest link is getting an adequate amount of sleep, just because I tend to stay up and on the computer a lot. But it's all-encompassing. You need exercise, you need sleep, you need good nutrition, you need sunlight, you need to be active and social. It's all-encompassing, so find out what your weakest link is and start from there. We do have another caller calling in. So let's take another call.
Yeah.
Hi, it's Green Mama.
Green Mama, how are you?
Good.
Hello.
Excellent. I'm so excited about you guys' radio show, and I am in the Chicagoland area, so I wanted to know more about wholesale resources and just some detail-oriented stuff about buying wholesale. So I've tried to do some research online, and it can be hard to find very good information. And then it seems like I may need to have some sort of evidence that I am a retailer,
right.
Or is that inaccurate?
Well, that's true. We kind of found a way around that. But
I want to hear.
I'll tell you after the show. For legality, you actually can get a tax number, and you could go there. My mom owns a business, and I could actually use her tax number to get produce and things like that. Now, you could do that, too. You could put the Green Mama fruit stand, and you can start buying in wholesale. Another thing is you have to pay in cash with all these things. Mm-hmm. The first time I went there, I was like, oh, cool, I got my credit card or whatever, and like, nope, so it's all in cash. We usually go to the International Chicago wholesaler. Just get it. It's free, too, that tax ID number, like I said.
Get to know the people who work there because they can help you out with deals and stuff. And a lot of times they'll let you try the fruit, too, because, I mean, you're not going to want to buy a case of something that tastes horrible. So ask them if you bring a knife. Bring a knife and ask to try some stuff. But usually they have a display case where you can try stuff.
Yeah, and they close at noon, so you have to get there in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, you have to get there in the morning. And be careful of forklifts. You might get hit by a forklift. So definitely, it's not like a grocery store. So they got forklifts going everywhere. You might get hit by one. They're pretty good with that.
I will say that Stanley's on North Avenue is also a very good grocery store, and I found prices there that are similar or better than wholesale. I bought a box of bananas there for $12.50 before, and watermelons are usually like 39 cents a pound. It's really good prices at Stanley's.
Yeah, Stanley's.
And I am familiar with Stanley's, and I just have never tried buying in bulk there.
Talk to the produce manager. He'll hook you up. He'll even give you a discount, too.
Yep.
And you said the name of the wholesaler place was International Chicago Wholesaler?
Chicago International Wholesale Market. I believe that's it.
Chicago International Wholesale Market.
Yeah. Another good place that I used to go all the time, I used to drive 40 minutes to go every weekend, was Jerry's Fruit Market. I like that place so much, I even bought their shirt. Now, they don't do any advertisement. The only advertisement they do is a big, giant sign outside the place. It's in Niles, Illinois, and it's crazy. They have these crazy deals. 4 cantaloupes for $1. They throw out these crazy deals that bring you in, and I go there. I'm always really impressed with what they got, like $1.50 for a pint of figs. And I used to get oranges for $12 or a case of oranges. I remember I bought 3 cases, and I took it back to school, which was 4 hours away, so packed up 120 pounds worth of oranges with me. So that's another good place. And then Pete's Fresh Market's another good one, too. There's a lot of... Oh, if you go to Niles, in that same street, it's on Milwaukee Road, there's 2 really good Asian places. And you can get durian and jackfruit. What else? Have a whole bunch of different exotic fruits. It's called H Mart. It's as big as a super Walmart, and everything's in Chinese there. They got really good prices on fruit there, too. And then there's another place called Aussie's, ASSI, on Milwaukee Road. So you can hit all 3 of those at the same time.
I hope that helps you find you have plenty of resources now to go get some good quality fruit in bulk.
If you want to get durian, too, on Broadway Street, that's where you get durian. There's a whole bunch of Asian Vietnamese stores on Broadway.
Yeah, up north in the uptown Edgewater area. But for anyone, because our callers and our listeners are all over the United States, anyone, if you're looking to buy bulk, just Google search wholesale market in the city closest to you. Also check out Asian markets around your area because you'll be able to get some exotic fruits from there. And then always just ask your produce manager to buy in bulk because you'll usually get a 10 to 15% discount. Green Mama, did we answer your question there? I hope you got some resources now.
You sure did. I do.
Well,
thank you very much.
Resource is Yelp.com. Put in cheap fruits and vegetables. You'll find a whole listing. That's how I found Jerry's Fruit Market. They had a couple hundred people talking about the best prices on fruits there. Yelp.com.
All right.
Yep. Thank you, Green Mama. And please,
you're welcome.
Listen in every week, Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or actually 5 p.m. your time. But yeah, thank you. And call back anytime.
All right, thanks. Okay, thank you. Great show.
You're welcome. Oh, thanks.
About 5 minutes left here. I'll bring her back.
Are we still on the air?
We're still on the air. We have about 5 minutes left.
Oh,
hello?
Okay.
I was just going to say, about 5 minutes left, Mike, if there's anything you want to talk about or where people can find you, what people should do. You've already mentioned some ways that people could get started on this diet, but...
Yeah. The really good tip to have is when you're changing anything in your life, I read all these books on self-help and working with the subconscious and things like that, how to get better with life and everything. They found, and they always have a section with smoking and everything. And every time they always say, when you want to break a bad habit, you have to install a good habit on top of it. So you can't just say, I'm not going to eat meat anymore, and then you're stuck going, oh my God, what do we eat? You bring something else in to fill that void. So if you're a smoker out there, it could be, instead of going outside to smoke a cigarette, maybe go outside and smell the fresh air. or start thinking about like, oh, I'm going to get so much money that I'm not spending on cigarettes and stuff like that. You always have to bring something else in if you're taking things out. So.
That's really good advice. You know, because I think a lot of times people trade a vice for another vice. I used to smoke a pack of cigarettes a day, and I tried quitting so many times. Just when I quit smoking, I'd end up like drinking more or using more drugs or trying, doing something else that wasn't healthy. So having what helped me when I did finally quit smoking was I started running, and that was the good, healthy thing that I traded in for the bad habit, which definitely helped. So that's pretty good advice. Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
We're coming to an end here, and I just want to say that this lifestyle has really changed my life for the better. I'm such a much happier person now than I have ever been in my life. I've met so many great people in this community and people who are thriving and genuinely want to help other people get healthy. The other night, actually last night, I had a really awesome experience. I was coming home on the train with my wife from this Fruit Luck party that we went to, and we were holding a platter of fruit and a watermelon that was carved and shaped like a turtle. And we had so many people who were fascinated by our delicious assortment of this sweet nature's candy, fruit. Well, we informed a lot of people about the benefits of raw food, the truth about weight loss and health, animal suffering, and the science behind the low-fat vegan diet. Many people that we came in contact with had questions with us, and others are just listening to us but were intrigued. And we shared our fruit with them and made people happy, and it felt so good making people happy and educating them at the same time. So this lifestyle has definitely changed my life. And for anyone who is out there that does not believe that a vegan diet is healthy, I just want to end on a quote from the American Dietetics Association. This is what they say. It is the position of the American Dietetic Association that appropriately planned vegetarian diets, including total vegetarian or vegan diets, are healthful, nutritionally adequate, and may provide health benefits in the prevention and treatment of certain diseases. Well-planned vegetarian diets are appropriate for individuals during all stages of the life cycle, including pregnancy, lactation, infancy, childhood, and adolescence, and for athletes. Mike, I definitely want to thank you for calling in today. Where can people find you one more time?
On YouTube on Fruit and Strength. Catch me on Facebook too, Mike Velasity, Vlasaty. Thanks for having me on the show, Gabe.
Absolutely, awesome. And I'll see you tomorrow, Mike, at Chicago Vegan Mania. All right, Thanks everyone. You've been listening to The Vegan Truth with MC Fructose. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. We'll see you next week. Bye. Fructose. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. We'll see you next week. Bye. Fructose. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. We'll see you next week. Bye. Fructose. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Time. We'll see you next week.